Fans camping out day and night for the latest chapter in the Cyhawk series. Hawkeye State bragging rights on the line. Iowa State and Iowa. Friends become foes. Comrades become competition. You know, corn is the staple in this state, but the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes are oil and water. This is one of the fiercest in-state rivalries in the country. And Hilton Coliseum already at a fever pitch. Opening tip goes to the Cyclones in their home Cardinal uniforms. Iowa wearing the road blacks. Your officials, Keith Kimball, Paul Sells, and Brett Smith. Cyclones go inside right off the bat. Trey King, 0 in red, has the first 2 of the night. What does Iowa like to do offensively, John?
Well, they want to push the pace, and they don't mind taking quick shots. It's part of getting the game played the way you want it, and that's with good pace and high scoring.
Josh Dix, number 4 in black, making his first start, the Iowa native. Here's Dix with 8 on the shot clock. Ben Cricky, Valpo transfer, leading scorer for Iowa, off the mark on his first attempt.
I gotta say, the environment is awesome. This is my first time here, and I have really enjoyed both these programs, but the environment here is just terrific. Great to be here for this rivalry.
Part of the reason why they call it Hilton Magic. Here's Lipsy, too strong on his first attempt. And Fran McCaffrey, no stranger to playing in enemy territory, just a couple hours away from Iowa City in his 14th season. And he's just 6 wins shy of becoming the Hawkeyes' all-time winningest head coach.
It's a pretty remarkable statistic. We actually joked with him earlier because I felt like every year someone's calling for his head. He's calling for his job. He's been remarkable at Iowa.
And 4 straight NCAAs for McCaffrey. His son Patrick off the mark on his first shot. Here's Tony Perkins with a 3.
And that's good to see one fall early. They've gotten good looks to start, good ball movement, and that's something Fran McCaffrey said. We got to move the ball around, create a little rhythm with our ball movement and find holes in defense.
Lipsy, a little bit out of control, turns it over. Peyton Sanford, 20 in black, with the pick. Here's Perkins again. Tough 2, doesn't go. And King's got the rebound. You mentioned a lot of new faces for the Cyclones. This is one of them, Keshon Gilbert, transfer from UNLV. Good passing by the Clones, and an and-one opportunity.
Really some tough passing. Not a lot of room to make that play. I believe it was Jones kind of saving it from going out of bounds. That's why you got to keep moving. Get yourself into a position not only where you can score, but where you can receive a pass. I know that sounds really simple, but guys don't do it. Get to the open spot where you can be seen and actually receive a pass.
Here's what's interesting about this Iowa State team. Not very good from the free throw line, so that's a good sign. Coming into this game, John, they only knocked down 68% of their free throws, but their free throw rate has increased. Why is that a good sign?
Part of that is they're able to get to the free throw line. That's good defense. That's going to get this crowd up.
Well, that's what TJ Otzelberger's teams are known for in his 2+ seasons in Ames. One of the best defenses in the land. They are number 6 in the country in points allowed and number 3 in the nation in forcing turnovers.
I think what's remarkable about TJ Otzelberger is the fact that there are absolutes, like how you're going to defend, your rotations, your communication, your physicality defensively, but there are a lot of freedoms on the offensive end. That makes him somebody that you want to play for.
Told us earlier today the biggest goal for his offense is to get downhill. You see the freshman, Milan Momcilovic, and an offensive rebound, and the putback, and 1.
In terms of physicality, Iowa State's winning this game. They've been able to get inside the defense, whether it be off the bounce and pass or a little power dribble, gain position with the power dribble, finish strong.
You just got your first taste of what they call Big Rob energy. Rob Jones, number 12 in red, completes the three-point play. And it's an 8-3 Iowa State lead.
Well, for those watching who want to mute the TV because of me, I get it, but I'm actually going to lay out a lot this game. The energy here has been remarkable, and there's an answer from Peyton Sanford. Obviously, this is a passionate basketball crowd for any game. Terrific conference, the Big 12. But when you bring Iowa here, it's something else.
Lipsy turns it over. And here's Iowa. Dix tracking it down. McCaffrey from the wing, no good. Momcilovic grabs the rebound.
Yeah, Iowa State dodged one there. They had numbers, should have gotten the offensive rebounds, but Momcilovic comes out with it.
Gilbert, nice fake, nice touch. First two of the night for the junior from St. Louis.
Yeah, and that's something Iowa State talked about. We have to attack pressure. If they're going to extend pressure, we've got to extend and attack.
Another Iowa turnover forced by the Clones defense. Lipsy in traffic, got the foul on Dix. That's the second on Dix, and Taman Lipsy will go to the line and shoot two.
Well, there's something we always say, the aggressor always wins. I don't know if that's really true. The aggressor maybe wins 60% of the times, it works all the times type of thing. But Lipsy's one of those guys. His much improved physicality is allowing him to get to the free throw line, get into places that really break down the principles of a defense.
And he is a local hero. Went to Ames High School, so he was a little Cyclone. Now he's a big Cyclone. He's made a big jump from his freshman to sophomore year, punctuated by his last game effort against DePaul, the 7th triple-double in Iowa State history.
Yeah, that's significant when you look at those statistics. Is every statistical category, and I think that happens a lot with guys that want to be where they are and are given a chance to take on more responsibility. You got 9 new faces. You're the only returning starter. That's added responsibility, and he's really stepped up well.
An early 12-5 lead for the homestanding Cyclones. 4 minutes gone by in the Cyhawk series. Sanford off the back iron. Here comes Lipsy.
That's a great scramble defensively, closing out. They're communicating well. And this is a good Iowa offense. All can shoot.
We'll take our first time out from Hilton Coliseum. When we come back, a closer look at this heated rivalry that they call the Cyhawk series. Iowa, here's a look inside the Iowa State series history. It started all the way back in 1910. Iowa won the first 10. It's gotten a little bit closer since then, this being the 77th meeting, 48-28 in favor of the Hawkeyes. But Iowa State, as usual, wins at home, 21-17 inside Hilton Coliseum, and the schools have split their last 10 matchups. Interestingly enough, the last 5 games have all been blowouts, and Iowa's won 4 of the last 5 games. And wouldn't you know it, a lot of Iowa natives involved in this game tonight, and before they were enemies, they were teammates at Hawkeyes High School. The Sanford brothers playing for Iowa, Omaha Blue and Cade Kelderman on the Cyclone sideline.
Did we just gloss over the fact that that's a high school team?
Yeah. Won the state title back in 2021.
That's not like IMG where they're going to recruit from all over the world. That's a high school team. That's insane how good that team is. I thought we were pretty good too.
And Tucker DeVries was on that team too. He's averaging 20 points a game for Drake.
He didn't even make the highlight in the photo.
Alongside John Crispin, Rich Hollenberg, a sold-out Hilton Coliseum for the 77th edition of the Cyhawk series. The best college basketball game on the slate today.
It's because we're calling it.
5 on the shot clock. Number 5, Curtis Jones, first 2 of the night.
See, that's the problem if you're Iowa. You got to be frustrated with that. The first 20 seconds of that possession defensively were good. You slowed them down coming out in zone, but then you gave up an easy dribble drive. There are times where you just have to win your battle defensively.
Catch and release. Sanford's good. That's his second 3. He had a 2-pointer earlier. They went back and looked at it, changed it to a triple. So now Sanford with 6.
And they're going to get that shot if you can get all the way downhill, because if he doesn't have that shot in the corner, one pass up and Patrick McCaffrey has an open 3, which will make a high percentage of.
Number 4 on the floor for TJ Otzelberger now, Demarion Watson. Lipsy feeds the post. 5 on the shot clock. Spin move by King off the window.
And that's where Sanford has to play defense early. He can't allow a catch in a position that he's going to lose. So play defense early. Do most of your work early. Force that catch further out. Make it a face-up, not a back down.
We talked about Iowa's offense. What do you like about Iowa State's defense?
First off, just physicality and presence. I mean, right there, all five see the basketball. There are simple principles, fundamentals that you learn at a young age. Somewhere in there, likely AAU ball, you forget them. See man, see ball, right? Jump to the pad, whatever it is. Those simple principles are on display to start this game for Iowa State.
Here's that vaunted defense we've talked about, allowing just 58.9 points a game, and they turn you over as well as any team in the nation.
I also think they're sneaky physical too.
There's Cricky, around and out, averaging 18 a game in his first season in the Big Ten.
And when I say sneaky physical, I mean they do so without getting called for fouls. There are ways to be physical that is not technically fouling, but you're wearing a team down, and I think that's something Iowa State has done very well.
6 minutes gone by, a 16-9 Iowa State lead. Gilbert can add to that lead. Here's another look. Tamin Lipsey a little slow to get up.
Yeah, he just landed almost flat on his back. For us mere mortals, we would need a long timeout. Kind of like one of those European soccer stretchers.
Get me a heating pad. Here comes DeSante Bowen. He and Josh Dix, who started the game, interchangeable parts according to Frank Caffrey at the point.
Interchangeable in some ways. Dix is going to look to shoot it a little bit more. He brings a different dimension offensively.
And the freshman 32 in black, Owen Freeman on the floor. That one's taken away by the Clones defense. The crowd wants Gilbert to take Sanford off the bounce. He does, but he doesn't get it to go.
They're going to look at matchups like that. If they have an advantage, they're going to create space and let them play. I think that's one of the better things that Iowa State does. Looks for the advantage and then plays out of it.
Freeman splits the double team. Now he gets it in the paint. And it rolls out again. The iron unkind to the Hawkeyes in enemy territory.
When you get down, you do start to press. I think you got to start driving if you're Iowa. Drive to kick that thing out to the three-point line, then play out of that. We talk about advantage basketball. When you drive and kick, that's a long closeout. Long closeouts get attacked. You create the advantage that way. They're just not really sure right now what they're doing offensively.
And Keith Kimball whistles DeSante Bowen for the foul, his first.
Fran McCaffrey's probably saying, hey, it's been physical on this end too. That almost looks like a loose ball. It's like a 50-50 ball at that point. That depends what colors I'm wearing, and that's what I think the call should be.
Here's Gilbert with no Lipsey on the floor. Now it's Jackson Pavletsky, the transfer from Wofford. Out to the freshman, Momcilovic misses from three.
Yeah, that's a great find, though. That's what Pavletsky brings to the table.
Perkins to Payton.
Not enough teams run flares out of a drive. There's a drive opportunity there. Flare is great. Defense does the fundamental thing, maybe jumps to the basketball. Hard to close out, especially when Sanford's being covered by a smaller player who can shoot over top of.
Well, Rob Jones has a chance for his second three-point play of the night.
And this has been on the roll. There's been no help and not enough ball pressure around the perimeter to take that roll pass away. And I think what Rob Jones did that was really good. He kind of short rolled until the defense fled, back out to a three-point shooter, then puts it down and finishes.
Rob Jones had 11 points, 10 boards last year in this Cy-Hawk series matchup. That was his second career double-double. He's got 5 tonight.
Why not?
Yeah, that is a why not three. He shot that from Provisions Lot F.
Oh, now I just put it together. That's where we went to lunch.
Jones again.
And Iowa State is really just picking out whatever they want out of that ball screen and roll.
Bowen nearly turned it over. Krikke wasn't looking for the pass.
Just got to see where the offense attack's going to come from. Can anybody from Iowa get to the free throw line? That's been a challenge.
With 7 on the shot clock. Krikke off the mark again. This is the 11th best scoring team in the nation, and they've been held to just 12 points in the first half of the first half.
Oh, it's a tough stretch, too. I mean, you're sandwiching this game between 2 Big Ten conference games this early in the season, a new group like everybody else.
Here's Paveletzky. Tough 2, gets it to go. Picked off by Jones. And blocked by Freeman. Here comes Iowa the other way. And a nice transition fast break from the Hawkeyes.
And for Iowa, you want to string some of those together, but you also need to start to figure things out defensively. There are matchups on the floor that Iowa State likes. They're doing a good job seeking them out. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Iowa State get back to that pick and roll where they've just been picking apart Iowa's defense. There it is.
King, soft touch for the big man.
And if that roll is not there, the dunk down's going to be there on the opposite side. Iowa's got some adjustments to make defensively.
Off the pick and roll, no good. Paveletzky. And that would have blown the roof off Hilton Coliseum, but instead, Jackson Paveletzky will go to the line and shoot 2. They are at full throat in Cyclone Alley. It has been all done damage-wise in the paint. 22 paint points in favor of the Cyclones.
Yeah, and at some point, Iowa has to figure out how they're going to manage that screen and roll situation. They're bringing over some backside help, but if they're not there early, and if you're not pressuring the ball enough, if you're going to hedge out, you better take that pass away on the roll. They have not been able to do so. Iowa State up 22 in terms of points in the paint for those who didn't see the graphic.
So now the sophomore transfer from Wofford, Jackson Paveletzky, at the line shooting 2, and he knocks down the first. He's part of that growing Wisconsin pipeline that TJ Otzelberger has built here in his short time at Ames. TJ grew up in Wisconsin, went to Wisconsin Whitewater for college, and he loves recruiting kids from that state as well. Paveletzky from Kimberly, Wisconsin.
I mean, the truth is, you love recruiting anybody that can play your style of basketball and serve your interests really well. It's just nice to have so many of them in your backyard, because there's a better chance they want to stay, even if it's the second time around, right?
Good to see Lipsy back on the floor if you're a Cyclones fan. Here he is, 3 in Cardinal. Largest lead of the night for the Cyclones.
That's big time. That's a really tough shot. Momcilovic has a game that is well beyond his years. Is that a term we're still using?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's just a freshman and a highly touted one. Interestingly enough, for this Iowa State roster, maybe their most touted freshman ever, Omaha Balloon, does not see a lot of playing time. Momcilovic with the block. 5 on the shot clock for the Hawkeyes. The freshman Hardy. And it's cleared by Gilbert.
I think the challenge for Iowa right now is match energy. You don't want to match physicality, you tend to foul, but if you can match energy and start to use your communication to start to disrupt a bit, that's going to be an offensive foul on the moving screen. But you mentioned Omaha Baloo, and there's a lot to say about this kid. His potential, yes. McDonald's All-American, yes. Does it happen overnight? No. There is a major adjustment up to this level. You're being coached differently. The demands are different. And I think the worst thing you can do is put a kid in a position where he's not able to play at the level he expects to play.
Picked off by Lipsy. And he'll go to the line and shoot 2 for his efforts.
I had more to say about that, but they turned it over too quickly.
A foul on freshman Brock Harding, his first.
That's going to be the challenge for Iowa, too, is can you just initiate some offense? Can you create rhythm? And they started to do that earlier in the game, but they didn't make enough shots to continue with it. Can you initiate offense? Can you get the defense chasing enough? Can you start to get drive and kick opportunities, let alone throw the ball in the paint, play inside out? They haven't created a good rhythm yet. And it's playing into the hands of Iowa State, who's just controlling this thing in so many ways. Yes, the physicality, the defense, but also just the energy and confidence.
The lead is a baker's dozen for the Clones. 6 steals already for this Iowa State defense. Here's Perkins left alone.
Oop.
And how about that board from Pavletsky? Momcilovic left alone. And he can't find the range yet. That's just the second three-point attempt for TJ Altenberger's club. First 12 minutes have belonged to Iowa State, 27-14. Cricky almost turns it over. It'll stay Iowa basketball. 7:55 to go. The Clones are loving what they see so far, looking to stay undefeated at home.
It brought a certain attention to the college game because of the stars. Now the women's game has star power. I mean, the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark thing, in the end, is a good thing for women's college basketball because of the attention it brings.
Yeah. Caitlin Clark leading the nation in scoring, 30 a game, 4th in assists as well.
I just think Iowa hasn't had an answer for the defensive prowess, the physicality, and then the energy of this arena.
Shooting just 27% in the first half, compared to 56% for Iowa State, mostly because they're doing it at close range.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, if you can't stop the basketball, it's going to make a backside defender step up, and then you put your team in scramble mode where you're scrambling from the three-point line to protect the rim.
Cricky finally gets one to go. Second field goal from Ben Cricky, coming off 16 and 7 in the Big Ten opener at Purdue.
Now, Iowa is one of those teams that they at any point could go on a 10-0 run, but that starts with a stop. At some point, you've got to get consistent stops and then find a little rhythm on the offensive end.
Here's King, leading all scorers with 11 so far. That's a tough take. And now Iowa's got a chance to put together back-to-back buckets. Catch and release. Harding off the mark. And there's a push in the back. And Keith Kimball caught it.
Seeing Wisconsin play Marquette, I didn't think Wisconsin was going to be able to slow down the attack of Marquette, really dictate the way the game was played. Well, they did just that. And I've got to think Tommy Lloyd and Arizona are looking at it saying, guys, we're going to have to execute our way at times, and we're also going to have to push the tempo at times. It's a challenging matchup for Arizona.
And then Shaka Smart and the Marquette Golden Eagles turn around and beat down Texas last night. An impressive start to the season for them.
A lot of good basketball teams out there, and it doesn't mean they're going to play good basketball every single night. I think there's more parity than anyone understands. It's why I think the preseason top 25 is utterly ridiculous. But the reality is, if you lose a game here or there, like Purdue lost, not a big deal. You're just going to learn from it.
In the corner, Jones. Off the mark, good rebound by the freshman Freeman. Harding. And freshman Brock Harding will go to the line and shoot a pair. This will be the first 2 free throws of the night for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
It was interesting. We were talking leading up to this game. We got an email from Joe Lunardi, and I was like, Joe, it's not March yet. Leave me alone. This is a bubble game per Lunardi right now, and I can't disagree. I'm just going to pick on him for doing this early in the season, but the reality is, based on where we are right now, this gives you a little bit of a glimpse of where these teams, based on performance base, stand. And I think it is an interesting thing to follow. I think it's just more fun to pick on Joey Brackets about it.
Is he in the bunker yet?
If he is, then we got to start talking. We got to bring him to the light.
Jones off the mark for that three. Way off the mark. No call there. Harding got away with one. Here's Price Sandfield. Throws it right into the hands of Tamin Lipsey. 2 Iowa kids.
Yeah, the rotations have been really good for Iowa State. They're taking that first pass away.
Gilbert!
Tell you what, Rich, I was about to say that's good on Iowa. You know, you want to force tough shots. You look at the steal. Yeah, good defense. You can live with three-point jumpers given the fact that you've been getting beat down in the paint. But it's all rolling Iowa State's way, particularly on the offensive end. Iowa's just trying to find a spark. Something, maybe get to the rim, get to the free throw line. Just haven't been able to get inside of this defense to pick out the shots that they want.
Patrick McCaffrey can't get the tough two to go. And right now, this game following the same script as the previous 5 between these two. They've all been blowouts recently. Momcilovic breaks the seal from his scoring drought. His first 2 of the night.
That's a big-time move. Under control, has a good size advantage, but also ball skills. That's going the other way.
That's the first on Perkins, and if you could read lips, you saw Fran McCaffrey say, that's a flop.
Well, let's see. Yeah, that's not one I'd call, but I think the thing is, with the new block charge rule, on plays at the rim, officials are more apt to call more off the bounce, right? Where they're not entirely set, but they're in legal guarding position, and I'm doing air quotes for that because that's something that needs to be interpreted from time to time. I think you're going to get more of those calls, the one that Fran McCaffrey didn't like, because of the changes to the block charge rule at the rim.
That's the 10th Hawkeyes turnover. They have just 6 field goals made tonight. Here's Gilbert. Oh my! Almost brought the house down again. But Big Rob Energy is there with his 9th point. Harding for 3. Silences this crowd, if only for a moment.
Yeah, good for Harding, though. He shot that with confidence. One dribble, rhythm dribble, shoots it with confidence, and now he's got to do work defensively down low.
Gilbert gets his own miss. Here's Lipsy for 3. Sanford answers with a 3 of his own, his 4th of the night.
All right, so the key now, if you're Iowa, you're starting to find a little rhythm offensively. You've made a couple shots, you've moved the basketball a little bit, but can you win a battle? And who on the floor, if it's not Tony Perkins, is going to get this defense established?
Pavlovetsky surveying. Catch and release, Momcilovic!
Not much you can do about that.
The lead has blown up to 18. Perkins, yes. Tony Perkins playing with a heavy heart. His grandmother passed away earlier in the week. He went to the funeral after the Purdue game and had to fly here to Ames to meet his team.
Taman Lipsy picks up the offensive foul. Iowa State team, they're rolling. There is nothing you can do about that. Momcilovic, yep, Patrick McCaffrey, we feel you too. Where Iowa State has a 42-26 advantage over the Iowa Hawkeyes, and there's a reason why they're the aggressor. And if you ask what is the aggressor in basketball, well, it's the aggressor physically. It's the aggressor in terms of execution. Where are you trying to score? Well, we're trying to score in the paint, and there's a reason why Iowa State is up 26-2 in regards to points in the paint. It's not just physicality, it's not just athleticism, it's being able to get the ball into a tough spot for the defense. They've done that, they've gotten inside, they've gotten the matchups they want, and Iowa State has so far dominated this basketball game.
This is the one that really jumps out at you, of course. 26-2 in the paint, and one of the side benefits of them pounding the ball inside, as TJ Altenberger told us earlier today he wanted to do, they've gone to the free throw line 10 times and knocked down 7 of them.
It's also demoralizing for a team when you're getting physically beaten. It does weigh on you differently, particularly when we talked about the rivalry matchup earlier in this game. You said emotions are high, passions are high. You've got to settle in. Well, I would say Iowa State has guided their passion and their emotions and put it onto the floor in a remarkable way.
Here's Perkins. Can't get it to go, but he got fouled and will go to the line.
I already have the feeling, and look, rarely am I ever right with this stuff, but I have this feeling like it's going to be a tale of two halves. This first half, unquestionably, is Iowa State's first half. They've done everything right. Iowa has not been able to figure out. They've been searching for an answer. I think the second half is probably going to be a different story, where Iowa State may have to adjust a little bit.
If you're a Big 12 fan, you gotta have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now.
So if you're a Big 12 fan, are you rooting for other Big 12 teams to win those matchups? Is that how it always goes?
Yeah, I think so. Keshon Gilbert has 7. And a traveling violation called on Peyton Sanford. That is turnover number 11.
Is there any way, Keith Kimball made that call, I wonder if we have him doing his little dance to call the travel. That was terrific. Usually we use our talk back for stuff like that. I just kind of say it out loud.
Iowa averages under 9 turnovers a game. They have 11 in the first half already. And Trey King continues to dominate inside. 13 for 0 in Cardinal Ray.
Well, I think the thing is Iowa shook with no answer. They haven't had an answer where they can get the ball where they want. That's going to be another offensive foul on the screen. And physically, Iowa State has dominated this game, and I think that is one of the more demoralizing things. When you continue to get beat inside around the basket, when they continue to add to that disparity in terms of points in the paint, it messes with you emotionally. So all those emotions you had coming into the game, now you've been checked a bit, and you've got to respond. Iowa has yet to respond.
.90 seconds to go in the first half, dominated by the Clones. That 3 off the mark. That's their first 3-point miss in their last 4 tries. But I got to be honest with you, it's a little bit refreshing to see a team play so well offensively and not rely on the 3-point shot.
Part of that's what the defense is allowing you to do, and physically, Iowa hasn't had an answer. The roll to the basket passes have been allowed, so if you're getting the ball in a tough situation like that on the block for a defense, and keep going at it. They haven't had to shoot the 3s.
7 to shoot for the Hawkeyes. Harding, step through, blocked by Jones. Now under a minute to go. And King wisely resets.
I just think Iowa State's done a really good job in this first half in terms of dictating the game, right? This is how the game's going to be played. It's played at our pace. And when they score and they get their defense set, they've been very good. And that's what's been so hard for Iowa. They haven't been able to get the pace up and find a good rhythm offensively.
5 on the shot clock. Here's Lipsy. Good shot fake. And it's in and out. But Jones got the offensive rebound, and he'll go to the free throw line. And that's 2 on Tony Perkins.
One of the challenges defensively when you are giving up points in the paint and you're trying to come back against a team that just has it rolling, you often get out of position. So when shots go up, you've got to work yourself back into the play and keep those offensive players off the glass. Iowa struggled in that department as well. We celebrate everything these days. I guess you flex on an offensive rebound. I'm not mad. I'm not going to tell him otherwise. If I was a player against him, though, I'd probably have something to say.
Oh, I'm sure you would. And for those of you who don't know John Christman, he's much too demure to flex.
Yeah, I don't flex on it. Well, I don't have anything to flex.
Last shot time for Iowa. 10 seconds to go in the first half. Cricky, their leading scorer, held to just 4.
Smart play.
And Sanford will go to the line and shoot 3.
And that's something experienced players will understand how to do in the second half. You have these conversations about, are you being trailed? In terms of your tendencies, what are they playing against? Well, they're playing against the 3-point shot. So Sanford stopping and going straight up, knowing Lipsy's going to trail hard, that's a smart play.
Peyton Sanford has only missed 1 free throw this season. He's now 20 for 21. putting up good numbers in his junior season. The junior out of Hawkeyes, Iowa. One of 5 Big Ten players averaging at least 13.6 points and 7.9 rebounds. I'll give you one guess as to who one other Big Ten player is, and you'll give me your answer when we come back. 4.3 seconds to go. Iowa State up big. The Cyclones experiencing every bit of Hilton magic. Call it Hilton dominance tonight in the Cyhawk series. They lead the Iowa Hawkeyes 47-29 as we get set for the second half. Looking for win number 600 in this building's history. From inside a sold-out Hilton Coliseum alongside John Crispin, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Happy holidays, everybody. So it was a dominating first half for the Cyclones. They're up 18. How did they do it?
Every possible way. Physicality, points in the paint was an easy one. Defense was another. When you watch the Iowa State defense, they're suffocating. They've been pressure on the basketball, which means you can actually be more aggressive on that next pass. If you take the next pass away with great pressure on the basketball, you're going to end up getting steals. That's what's happened. Great defense on the ball. Dictate what passes you're going to allow and take that pass away, and it leads to offense. The points in the paint, 2 to 30 in the first half. A game that's been physically dominated by Iowa State, but also dominated on the defensive end.
So Rob Jones with 10 points and Trey King with 23 points, all of those coming in the painted area. Iowa State shot 55% in the first half. Iowa just 9 for 26. And now make it 9 for 27 after that Sanford miss. Gilbert, no whistle. And a fresh 20 seconds for the Clones.
Yeah, it's a good no whistle, but it was also a good offensive possession for Iowa. They read the screen right. He pops back. They got him a pass. They got a good look. But that's what happens on the other end. Iowa State's just been rolling. And I really think Momcilovic is a guy that's going to make this program, this team, probably a lot better than most of the country realizes.
Playing 30 minutes a game as a freshman. That's second on the team. Cricky, and the lefty gets it to go.
And he's got a good mid-range game, Cricky does. If he gets there and can get the shot off, it's a good look. When you consider the type of shots that Iowa's gotten in the first half, that might be the best look you're going to get, and you have to take it if you get it quickly in the shot clock.
Gilbert with 10 on the shot clock. Some big-to-big passing goes out of bounds, and it'll stay Iowa State basketball.
You know, I was switching that, and they end up able to get the ball inside because of the advantage of the game there. Sanford's going to go over the top. This is good interior passing, just good hands to take the basket away.
5 to shoot. Again, King to Jones. Jones goes down hard. And these officials are going to have to be careful that tempers don't flare in this heated rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a foul. It's a foul. It's all right. Jones is okay. I think he's going to be all right. But that actually goes back, it points back to what we were talking about. The fact that it's demoralizing. When you just continue to get beaten down low, that's your only outlet, is to foul. And then put them on the free throw line where they have somewhat struggled.
Right, just 68% as a team this year. Tonight, 8 for 13. As Jones tries to knock one down, he had 10 in the first half.
I'm sorry to go, but I actually like fouling open twos. I think you have to earn every shot around the rim. I would not allow easy layups around the rim. Do so nicely if you can.
That one almost picked off by Gilbert. Cricky double teamed, out of bounds. Cyclones basketball.
And Iowa's got to figure out the fact that they're taking away the next pass. It's fine to be a decoy. Get yourself as far out as possible if you're going to be the next pass out of a double or out of just pressure defense. Someone else has to come over and alleviate that pressure. And that may be a flash to the elbow area, but they've got to get that figured out if they want to break down this pressure.
Here's Lipsy to King. Looking for a whistle, didn't get one.
And I like that no call. There was a no call a couple of possessions ago. I like it because what we want to see is more plays at the rim. We want to get guys away from trying to take that charge, which I think is a dangerous play when you're going at the rim. So you're allowing the wall up, and that leads to better basketball.
Here's Perkins. That mid-range two, no good. And Trey King has the rebound. King leads all scorers with 13 for the Cyclones.
Body language often tells you a lot, and when a guy dribbles down and no one stops the basketball, you start to see guys kind of throw their hands up in the air. What they're really frustrated about is not just who's stopping ball, who's calling it out. And you've got to have communicators on the floor. That's something Connor McCaffrey did really well for this program. He was a great communicator, he was a connector, he was a leader, he was tough. And I think those are little pieces that once you lose them, you realize how important they were.
He and Phil LaBrocca and Chris Murray. That's over 3,000 minutes of basketball that Fran McCaffrey is without.
Significant. But it's the little things they do within those minutes.
Nice escape pass from Sanford to the freshman Freeman.
That's part of it. Be strong. The rip through is something that's there on a pressure defense. And if you rip through and the defense is on you, you often get the foul called. That was just strength with the ball.
Gilbert got fouled by Sanford. That'll be his third.
Freeman's going to have a really good career at Iowa. I mean, he puts himself in the right place. He's good on the offensive end. He's going to develop and start to figure out how to play at this level on both sides of the ball. Anticipate defensively, also anticipate on the offensive side to get there. But Peyton Sanford being strong with the basketball, ripping through. The double has a gap. Get your legs through that gap.
With as physical as this Iowa State defense is, it's like a grown man's game. Easy to forget when you look at Owen Freeman how big he is. Just turned 19 last month. Keshon Gilbert 4 for 4 from the line. He has 11 and the lead is 22 for the Cyclones.
Nope.
Now Gilbert clears. Up the left side he comes. Wow. And he takes it off the window. 6 straight for Keshon Gilbert.
And they just like their matchups. If they see that matchup, and you got Patrick McCaffrey on, Gilbert's going to put the ball on the deck and go to the rim. There's been no answer. No one stopped the basketball. And at least force a reset, allow the defense to get set.
Perkins, no. And Freeman, yes.
I like the size of the lineup Iowa has right now. I mean, it's like, yeah, Tony Perkins, smallest guy on the floor, but it's really 6'7" and up. Beyond that, you got Freeman and Cricky on the floor at the same time. That should secure things.
And all of a sudden, it's the Keshon Gilbert show. Now the steal from Lipsy. Forget about it. Keshon Gilbert has taken the game over, and it's the largest lead of the night for the Clones. Largest lead of the night for the Cyclones, and it's courtesy of number 10, Keshon Gilbert. John Crispin, he's on an 11-0 run all by himself.
Yeah, he's rolling, but this is an Iowa State team that really has everything working in their favor. This crowd is terrific, but they've given them reason to be as good as they are. This Iowa State team's been the physical aggressor. They've attacked off the bounce. They've dominated down low, and they really haven't allowed Iowa enough room to breathe, to find comfort and confidence in this matchup tonight.
Interesting to note that earlier today at practice, TJ Altenberger said number 10, Keshon Gilbert, is the key to the game tonight. He had 7 in the first half. He has 18 on the game now.
And sometimes when you hype a guy up like that for a matchup like this, where you say, hey, I think you're the key to this matchup. I think we're going to like the matchups you have. I think I'm going to like the opportunities we can put you in. That gives a kid confidence to go out and just play fearless basketball, fearless with conviction. A lot different than just confident because a couple shots have fallen.
62-35. This is the 11th highest scoring team in college basketball, the Iowa Hawkeyes, coming in averaging just a tick under 88 points a game. 5 on the shot clock. Cricky, nice touch from the big man.
That is nice, but that's a tough shot. And I think there are times, like, yeah, there are tough shots that go in, but is it something you feel as a team you can build on? The answer is no. You've got to get opportunities around the rim. You got to get opportunities to get to the free throw line, to draw defense and kick. Now you're going to the zone, see if Iowa can have success.
Lipsy threw it away. Here's Tricky again, working on Jones. And an offensive foul called on Tony Perkins. That's the third on the Iowa guard. Fran McCaffery, nonplussed. 15:25 to go, all close. Quote from that famous speech he made at the ESPYs years ago. The other in Roman numerals, the date that he was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Great to see Patrick McCaffery recovered and healthy.
Yeah, and I've spoken to Fran McCaffery a number of times about Patrick and everything they've gone through, and you're talking about everything as, you know, since he has gone through it. I cannot put into words what that perspective must have been like to see your child go through that while trying to coach teams, while trying to maintain perspective and serve the team that you're responsible for. You can't put it into words.
Well, it's V Week at ESPN, as we said. We partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can help the fight by visiting v.org/donate, and 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research.
It's a pretty cool thing to be a part of V Week, to be a part of ESPN and the legacy of Jim Valvano. And it's just a reminder, we're all touched by this in some way, shape, or form, whether it be teammates, family members, neighbors, friends. And it's a way that people come together. We're unified through collective struggle. And it's really special that we get to be a part of this. And what Dick Vitale's done for the V Foundation, you can't say enough. Look, I say what Dick Vitale's done for our industry. He's carved out room for people like me to call basketball games. But what he's done for things far beyond this industry, pale in comparison, right? You know, it's not even close.
Yeah. And here in the Hawkeye state of Iowa, down the road in Des Moines, a broadcasting legend, Ray Cole, resides. Big basketball fan. He was at the ESPY event at Madison Square Garden just the other night and texted me, said, don't forget to mention V Week, and we certainly would never do that. And to your point, Dick Vitale, as legendary as he is in basketball circles, his legacy will be his never-ending pursuit to find a cure for pediatric cancer.
Well, Dick Vitale's done far more for things outside of basketball than I'll ever do. And he's done that with the celebrity he's created in basketball. It's going to be intentional.
And they're going to get Brock Harding for that intentional foul.
I know if Iowa fans are probably frustrated about this. There's a lot of hope, and yeah, I mean, that's going to be an intentional foul, clear path to the basket, and he's hanging on just to get the call. Iowa fans are going to be frustrated. I don't think you can sweat some of these games too early. You're still getting to know your team. You're still getting to learn what you struggle with and then find solutions to your struggles. And there are times, we've seen it, there's good teams that lose badly and then they bounce back the next game, they look great. It's just too early to define any team at this point. Other than the fact that Iowa State's playing really well. And when they can physically assert themselves, there's a good chance they're going to win the game.
Looking for a 23rd straight home win against a non-conference opponent, and here's that look. A much smaller Brock Harding tying up Rob Jones. Easier said than done.
Yeah. And he stands next to us and we go, oh, he's taller than me.
6 feet, 162 pounds. Illinois Mr. Basketball last year at Moline High School, where he won a state title with his current Hawkeye teammate, number 32 in black, Owen Freeman.
If you were working with Fran, he would have some story about his high school and who came out of there, who
James
coached
Madison
there.
High School in Brooklyn. Of course, we're talking about Fran Fraschilla, not Fran McCaffery.
Yes.
Fran McCaffery is Philly through and through.
I'm talking about Moline High School. He would know all about that.
Coming up on 6 minutes gone by in the second half. Wow. Dominated by the Cyclones.
And that's demoralizing until you switch your defense up and go to a zone, and then you lose sight of one of the better shooters on the floor. And Taylor Lipsey hasn't felt like he's done a ton, but he's definitely influenced the game.
Well, to your point, John, 9 points, 4 boards, 5 dimes, and 4 steals. You talk about a stat sheet stuffer, Taylor Lipsey.
Coming off of a triple-double performance, the 7th in school history.
The freshman Dembele off the mark. Lipsey. That one's way off the mark. That's one area, despite that miss, that Taylor Lipsey has really improved on from last year to this year. Last year, he made only 5 3-pointers. This year, he already has 9 and more 3-point attempts at this point of the year than he had all last year.
Once you get comfortable with the type of shots you expect to get, you shoot those shots with much greater confidence. Once you practice those shots as if you're going to get them in the game, you make a higher percentage. And we're just seeing the maturation and development of a guy who understands his role on the floor. And as I said before, he was given more responsibility this year. He's lived up to it.
Little push shot from Big Rob Energy. He's got 14. That's a season high for Rob Jones.
I also want to send a big thanks out to the line at the men's room. They let me go ahead of everyone. That does not go unnoticed.
Might be the first time in my 15-plus years that someone's given a shout-out to the line at the men's room.
The fact that there was a line at the men's room, let's build another.
Here's Bowen. Goes right at Keshon Gilbert and gets it to go. They need more of that.
Physicality at the rim, right? Creating, absorbing contact. That's how you climb yourselves back into a game. I'm not one to say it's too late, but defensively, Iowa hasn't had an answer. That's been the problem. You can score at times, but you've got to be able to get stops.
The lead is 27. It was as much as 29 moments ago. 5 on the shot clock for the Clones. Gilbert. And a heads-up play by Rob Jones, knocking it out of bounds and off a Hawkeyes player. 11:42 to go, all Iowa State.
And we talked about Taylor Lipsey, maybe not scoring as much, coming off the triple-double, but he stuffed the stat sheet in every column, and he's a winner.
Let's go in the Wayback Machine, John Crispin, all the way back to the mid-'80s when Jeff Hornacek became the all-time assist leader here at Iowa State, took them to a Sweet 16. His number 14's retired in the rafters. Then Jamal Tinsley took over point guard duties in the late 90s, early 2000s. First-round pick in the NBA. Big 12 Player of the Year. Monte Morris, a second-round pick of the Denver Nuggets, set the standard for assist-to-turnover ratio. And, of course, Tyrese Halliburton is now setting the NBA on fire. Had a triple-double the other night for the Indiana Pacers, and you just saw the latest in line in this point guard legacy in Ames, Iowa. Taylor Lipsey, hometown boy, both of his parents, Robert and Holly, in attendance, and they are both Iowa State employees.
It's really cool, too, to see that. You know what it means to a family for them to be able to come to every game, but also seeing their son represent where they work, where they live. There's a whole nother level of community as he turns it over.
Yeah.
You know we're talking about you.
And I left out a couple of names. There are tons of names. Curtis Stinson, Will Blaylock, Deontay Garrett.
You're just afraid someone's tweeting at you right now.
It's been an embarrassment of point guard riches in Ames, Iowa. And Taylor Lipsey, the latest in line.
Good defense.
Bowen from the wing, no. Watson the rebound. Out of bounds, it'll stay Iowa basketball.
I think a game like this is really good for a guy like Freeman at Iowa. Once he learns what it takes in terms of the physicality, in terms of the effort, the intensity, but also the execution. Once you learn what it takes to win at this level, a lot of guys can play at this level, but can you win at this level? That's a great question. He's going to get better.
That three-pointer off the mark. And Freeman goes to work and will go to the free throw line.
And I think Fran McCaffrey has some interesting lineups he can play with right now. More of a smaller guard-oriented lineup. More versatility, should have better spacing. But they can also go big from time to time with Freeman and Cricky on the floor at the same time.
Here's the freshman Freeman, off the mark on the free throw. And after that, Missouri and Kansas, the border war from Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence. Both games also on the ESPN app.
I think I should probably talk about the other game this time, but the reality is I'm really interested to see Wisconsin and Arizona. I think Arizona's an awesome team to watch, fun basketball, but Wisconsin has shown that they can control games. They can create a pace that they like, and they make the game played that way, so in a way they force you to beat them at what they do best.
That lob off the mark. So I think it's pretty easy to say Purdue is the cream of the crop right now in the Big Ten. How do you see it playing out underneath Purdue?
It's a great question. I think Michigan State's the real wild card, however long it takes for them to figure it out. But it is Purdue and seemingly everybody else. And we've had that from time to time in the Big Ten. I played in the Big Ten at Penn State. And it's pretty balanced around. Purdue is just on another level right now. It doesn't mean they're not going to lose games. They'll lose a game here or there, and that's okay. I think we get so caught up in this is the best team in college basketball. They'll go undefeated until they lose the very next game.
Lost in overtime at Northwestern. That one's blocked by Freeman.
Northwestern's a good team. And if you have the right night and a good game plan, you can win a game.
Pavlovsky comes up empty, went into the teeth of that Hawkeyes defense. And now Bowen. Another straight line drive for Deshante Bowen. And he'll go to the line and shoot a pair. That's going to be the second foul on Keshon Gilbert.
Iowa State's done a really good job of just making things difficult for Iowa, keeping them uncomfortable. They haven't had to switch up their defenses to do it. They haven't really had to change their scheme to do it. They've consistently and constantly taken the next pass away with good ball pressure on the ball, and Iowa just hasn't figured out how to counter that yet. And with 9:30 left, yet it's starting to get too late.
Yeah. Well, you have to start thinking three-pointers, even though you wish you didn't have to. They're 0 for 7 from beyond the arc and a half.
Now, something I want to point out, as much as I say that, it's like, yes, you could be a little critical, but at the same time, they don't have the personnel to break down off the bounce. And when you're playing against a pressure defense like this, if you can get the defense extended and you can have the space that you have because of the shooters you have, you need a driver or two. Iowa needs a couple guys that can be confident and strong with the basketball to get inside the paint, force a closeout, force help, and then play with that advantage. They haven't been able to create advantage tonight.
We've seen Bowen do it a couple of times, all 8 of his points coming in the second half. The largest margin of victory in the 76 previous Cy-Hawk series games, 20 points. Right now it stands at 24 for the Cyclones. There's a turnover stolen away by Freeman. Nice passing, and Dix pays it off. And TJ Altenberger wants to talk it over, get the troops refocused, and focused on getting their 23rd straight home non-conference win. Well, John Chrisman, it doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight, but sometime soon this season, Fran McCaffery's going to get his 6th win from now. And when that happens, he will become the all-time winningest head coach in Iowa Hawkeyes history, surpassing the great Dr. Tom Davis.
Look, that's something remarkable, especially in today's day and age, where I joked about this earlier, that it seems like every year they don't win a national championship, someone wants a new coach. That's the challenge of coaching today in a world of social media. But he's done a great job with this program. It's been a fun program to watch, a fun program to be around, and I think they have their years where they have opportunities. Felt like they missed a great opportunity when they had Luka Garza. Jordan Bohannon wasn't healthy in the NCAA tournament, nor was Joe Wieskamp. So they had they had opportunities, just weren't able to capitalize. But they've had great programs. Peter Jock was terrific for them. I just think you're often defined by where you end up. Purdue is dealing with the same thing. Right? Purdue has had struggle after struggle in the NCAA tournament, so people right now are saying, that's great, you might win the Big Ten. What can you do in the NCAA tournament? I would argue that Fran McCaffery has typically built teams that can be good in the NCAA tournament, but may struggle with certain matchups in the Big Ten, the way the game's played in the Big Ten Conference. It's physical, it's possession to possession. Now, when they can create great pace, they have success, but they have to dictate the way the game's played.
Momcilovic can't get it to go, neither can Rob Jones. Back out to Gilbert. It's a 9-1 Iowa run right now.
Wow.
But Gilbert ends that. 21 for Keshon Gilbert, one off his season high.
Yeah, Harding gambled a little bit. He had a good initial defense and then stood up, kind of gave up on the play. Tried to get the strip from behind, but you can't put your big in a bad spot like that. And Gilbert, great job absorbing contact, elevating, and finishing.
14 second half points for Keshon Gilbert. The lead is back to 23 now for the Clones. And Lipsy rips another rebound. That's 5 boards for Tamin Lipsy, one of the best rebounding guards in the nation. Step back, Momcilovic. Pavletsky with the hustle. And Gilbert pays it off. Freeman called glass.
It's like you draw it up. It was actually a great play by Bowen to make the right read, and then Freeman just getting to that spot again where you can receive a pass. No reason to roll there. That's where your defender is. Get to that open spot around the free throw line. There's going to be options out of that.
Keshon Gilbert came into this game 10 for 25 in his last 2.
Oh, he wants it.
He's 8 for 15 tonight. And he almost made it 9 for 16. When we come back, Keshon Gilbert will go to the line looking for a new career high, John.
Yeah, he has just been electric tonight, and I think part of it is the matchup. I think the other part is your head coach, TJ Otzelberger, says your key to this victory, that's added responsibility, and when you live up to it, when responsibility is given, that guy's getting a green light.
Back in Ames, Keshon Gilbert's been on TJ Otzelberger's radar for years, ever since Gilbert was a teenager. He originally committed to Otzelberger when TJ was the head coach at UNLV. Then Otzelberger left to come to Iowa State, and a couple of years later, Keshon Gilbert followed him, and now he's 1 point away from tying his career high.
Yeah, he really has been that good, and part of it's been he realized in the first half that he can be aggressive. In the second half, he actually started to be aggressive to score. And that just changes the game. There have been a number of ball handlers for Iowa State that's been able to get where they want. And when they draw defense, it's been some of those dump downs to the short corner area, to the block, where bigs have been able to dominate the game. There's just been no answer for Iowa State's intensity on the defensive end, and then what they've done offensively in terms of getting to the basket. You've got to win your battle defensively, and Iowa just hasn't been able to get a stop.
So now a career high tying 25 for Keshon Gilbert, and he comes up with a steal on the left side. A foul on the floor. That'll be before the shot.
Calling intentional.
And it's on Harding. That's his second intentional foul tonight.
Part of me would want to say, if I'm Harding, yeah, of course I meant to foul him. Like, what's wrong with that? Do you see where I am? Do you see the position he's got on me? And yeah, that, I mean, foul him right away. I don't really understand there are a lot of times where you intentionally foul, but it's not an intentional foul. I think that's one where you just say, yeah, it's a foul.
Jones with 15.
Of course, I interpret the rule book how I think it should be interpreted half the time, so.
And look at Rob Jones knocking down 2 for 2. He's a 50% free throw shooter. Don't tell him that.
Well, the more you get there, the better you get. And it's easier to knock down free throws with this type of lead.
Jones 6 for 10 from the stripe tonight.
Oh boy.
And that's an easy 2.
This is a ruthless crowd, by the way. I don't think they're not letting up.
They get loud on offense. Yeah. They get even louder on defense.
Look, except all the guys in the line to use the men's room at halftime. They were lovely.
Coming up on 6 minutes to go. It's been all Cyclones tonight in front of the home faithful. Tamin Lipsy, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, coming off a triple-double effort against DePaul. And there's Curtis Jones getting in on the punt.
I was just getting carved up, whether it's in the zone or in the man, just not able to contain the basketball. The basketball's getting where Iowa State wants it on the offensive end, and they've had all the success in the world.
Oh, and Freeman has 9 tonight.
Freeman's going to be a good player.
Yeah.
Krikke is very good. This has not been their night. Now, there are adjustments that Iowa has to make. They have to learn how to play with one another, not having that on-the-ball guard that can break you down. They really have to use each other very well. And defensively, I mean, you can't lose sight of the ball. Too easy of a pass. No one there in that 2-3. And Jones is getting one heck of an applause. That's awesome.
He's playing to the crowd, too. He loves it.
Why not?
The transfer from Denver in his 3rd season in Ames. The double team. And they are just as ferocious on defense now with an 83-54 lead as they would be if the game was tied.
Well, there's a lesson in that, too. If you're TJ Otzelberger, you want to teach teams how to bury opponents, especially a team like Iowa. Iowa can really get it rolling, maybe not now, but Iowa's a team that can get it rolling. You have to teach your young team. Again, 9 new faces. Tamin Lipsey's the only guy coming back that started. You want to teach this new group how to end a game, how to close a team out. Especially the way the game's played today. It's so much more fluid. You get up and down the floor more. There's more possessions, and thank God for that. There are opportunities for teams to get back in, and I don't know if Iowa can really press this Iowa State team. I think there are too many ball handlers, and even guys like Momcilovic, he makes good decisions with the basketball, can pass over the top. They have a number of ball handlers to break down pressure.
Good ball movement by the Clones. Behind the back, and King finishes. Talk about Hilton magic.
That was a Hilton clinic. They put on a clinic in terms of how to move the basketball and then how to attack with the extra pass, and a little bit of razzle-dazzle is not too bad either. We're going to celebrate the pass at the end. We often do this. We celebrate the outcome of things and we forget about all that led up to it. So yeah, here's razzle-dazzle, good finish, and it was, and Gilbert's had a terrific night. But as a collective, as a team, collectively, they moved that basketball so well that all Iowa could do was chase.
17 for Trey King, 25, 5, and 5 for Keshon Gilbert.
Those are pretty good stats, man. You're contributing every way, and it's almost as if there's no established role. Your role is to go play basketball. You're taught every role. And whatever it's going to be that night, if you have the advantage, you take it. And I feel like Iowa State had the advantage off the bounce. They were aggressive in finding that advantage and then aggressive in basically punishing Iowa for what they couldn't do in terms of stopping the basketball.
Tamin Lipsey take a bow. He checks out with 4:19 to go. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for Tamin Lipsey. And 4 steals to go along with it on the defensive end. Pavletsky in the corner. That one was from Cornbread.
You're really working for the discounts here, aren't you? Did you not get enough gear today? You're gonna have to repeat the place for me, Ray.
That would be provisions.
That was true. It was good.
Jump ball. It'll be Iowa State basketball as we take our final media timeout of the night.
You talk about the Hilton magic. I mean, part of it is the confidence you have playing in front of this fan base, the confidence you have when things work so well. This was great ball movement against the 2-3 zone. Swing, 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 attack a long closeout, make a pretty play. Everybody's happy.
And we also don't know the dimensions of Hilton Coliseum. It holds, what, 14,000 plus fans? But this young lady wearing number 22 sprinted around the upper deck and did not stop until she got to her finish line.
I'm going to say that's a 64-second quarter mile at least. I'm going to say it's more than a quarter mile. She was hauling.
And she doesn't break a sweat, and she doesn't even look out of breath as she's waving that Cyclones flag.
She beat the Hawk too.
All in celebration of an 88-56 Iowa State lead. 3:20 to go. Stolen away by Bowen. The left hand and an and one opportunity for Iowa.
Bowen has shown me something too. His ability to win the battle off the bounce. He gives you something. Tyler Eulis had that. And they really don't have that guy. So there's roles that you have to fill based on the matchup. And the matchup here is you've got to be able to win the battle off the bounce. It's the only way you create some opportunities and then create some movement off of that bounce and you get open shots.
Iowa has Michigan coming up at home on Sunday, but they are staring at back-to-back blowout losses. They trailed by as many as 35 at Purdue, lost by 29, and now they're down 30 here in Iowa State.
Well, I think, the term is styles make fights, and I do believe that these are tough matchups. Purdue, a tough matchup for Iowa in terms of that physicality. This is a tough matchup. If you can't win the battle off the bounce, you may struggle. And then defensively, they haven't been able to contain the basketball. Those are tough matchups for Iowa, which means they have to make adjustments to basically plan for tough matchups.
Gilbert, slithery, but he can't get it to go. Here's Price Sanford, younger brother of Peyton. Dix in the corner, got it.
Tonight it's Bowen though. Bowen's the guy who can create for you off the bounce. That's a great play. And that's been there because of the pressure applied to the basketball. They've struggled when they brought a ball screen because they've just really blown that up and there haven't been opportunities to pass out of it, taking that first pass away. But winning off the bounce is probably your best option if you're Iowa.
That was the Hawkeyes' first three-pointer made in the second half. They're 1 for 9. Now under 2 minutes to go and 6 seconds on the shot clock. Momcilovic around and out. And Price Sanford with the rebound. Up next for the Iowa State Cyclones. They'll play on Sunday as well against Prairie View A&M. Big 12 schedule starting a little bit late this year. January 6th is the start date, and there's the younger Sanford with his first bucket of the night.
Look, Iowa's got great shooters on this team, but you've got to create a rhythm early that allows those shooters to make shots constantly and consistently.
And Pavletsky was trapped after the mid-court line and called timeout.
Iowa, you are lucky, the state of Iowa, to have two programs like this, to see play every year. This is awesome. As a basketball guy, this is awesome.
And a shout out to Drake and a shout out to Northern Iowa as well. They love their basketball.
It is. You're so PC. Yes, they do. I don't mean to leave anyone out, but right now, Iowa and Iowa State, these are two national programs that I think you should be really happy to have in the state. You don't want to make enemies, that's what it is.
Well, I'm a big Ben Jacobson fan.
So am I.
There's Lipsy in double digits now.
Drake's a terrific program. They have been for a while. Ben Jacobson, gosh, that guy can coach. I love that guys like that stay where they are. But at the highest level here, Big 12 and Big 10, this is a great matchup, and it's one that has really been one-sided tonight in terms of Iowa State just being able to do what they want to do on the floor.
And once again, for the 6th straight season, it's a blowout. This time, it's Iowa State's turn to claim victory in the Cyhawk series.
Yeah, look, I love both these programs, but thank you to Ames, Iowa, and the fans here at Hilton Coliseum. This was an awesome experience.
Well, tonight, Hilton Magic gave way to a Hilton massacre. Iowa State takes down their in-state rival, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Final score, 90-65. TJ Otzelberger's crew improves to 7-2 on the season, 5-0 at home inside Hilton Coliseum, and they claim their 23rd consecutive home win against a non-conference opponent and their 600th win all-time inside Hilton Coliseum. John Crispin and I will be right back after these messages to wrap things up to 65, the final score. Back here inside Hilton Coliseum alongside the star of the game, a career-high 25 points for Keshon Gilbert. This is your first taste of the in-state rivalry between Iowa State and Iowa. What are your feelings about it now?
Man, it was just a fun game all around. You know, we competed all 40 minutes, and I mean, I'm kind of speechless. I've never seen an environment like this. It was just love here. I love it at Iowa State so far.
So your coach, TJ Otzelberger, said coming into this game, you were going to be key. The matchup, he liked it. He knew you could get downhill. He knew you could get to the basket. What does that do for you and your confidence coming into the matchup?
I mean, it just make my confidence that much higher. You know, knowing your coach believing you that much, it just make your confidence that much higher. I ain't gonna lie. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, a little added responsibility means a greener light next game.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's music to your ears, Keshon Gilbert. We could talk all night about the 25 points, but there was one pass in particular. You had 5 dimes and 5 rebounds as well. There's one pass in particular, and we'll show you this so you could talk us through it. What was going through your mind on this dish?
I'm pretty sure he thought I was gonna go up, so he was ready to contest the shot. So I just dished it to my boy Trey. He finished it, and you know we set the gym on fire after that.
Yeah, basically, what you could say is we were up 20 plus, and that's what you do when you're up 20 plus. You put on a show for the home crowd.
Yeah, basically.
Keshon Gilbert, before we let you go, for people who are watching all around the country and have seen Iowa State basketball tonight for the first time, what message does this send to the rest of basketball in the Big 12?
You know, we coming. We know everybody. Not a lot of people believe in us, but we coming. That's all I got to say.
All right, Keshon Gilbert, a game-high 25 points. Congratulations. Thanks for the time. State wins it by 25. The final score once again. Cyclones 90, Hawkeyes 65 to take the latest edition of the Cy-Hawk series. For John Crispin, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Our final score.
At the end of the day, we all know it's a Cyclone state.
Nice, George.
You know it, pal.